Welcome back to the Titan Talk podcast as we are now on episode 9 here, and we're going to dive right into it and recap the Titans 49ers game. What is your thoughts on that, Luke?
Well, my thoughts on it are look, it was a rough game score wise. The Titans did not perform, but if you told me the Titans were going to come into this game and put up a good, solid performance against the 49ers, have chances of lives, and I saw online that the argument was, well, it was junk time from the middle of the first quarter. I don't necessarily think that that's true. I think the Titans put enough pressure on the 49ers to make them feel worried throughout the whole entire game. It's just the Titans' defense and secondary let them down big time.
I agree. That secondary, I was watching the game, I zoned out for a minute, and then all of a sudden I hear Drew Brees on commentary say, and the Titans are trotting out a former Pizza Hut delivery driver. That's when you
Saw the
know
same
we're
thing.
on bare bones on this defense. It's getting insane
I
and
think
crazier each week.
I think at one point they mentioned that there was one more active cornerback on the roster that could play football. So if someone else went down, like I don't know what the Titans are doing, they might have to revive Xavier Restrepo, put him out there, play corner. Like seriously,
With a
what do
broken
you do
knee
in
or
that situation?
something.
It's crazy, and it's not even that the Titans secondary should be this bad. Look at the pieces that we traded away and got hurt coming into the offseason. Like the Titans secondary was not a huge concern, but L'Jarius Sneed has proved to be horrible. We sent away Roger McCreary. We sent away who was it to the
Brownlee.
Jets? Jarvis Brownlee. We sent away our top three corners. We sent them away. What do you expect?
Yeah, that's one thing I was harping on towards the beginning of the year. I was saying corner was not a need at the beginning of this season. We had arguably a top 15 cornerback room, and now we're not even arguably, we are the worst cornerback room in the NFL. We have L'Jarius Sneed, who's dealing with legal trouble right now. We have Brownlee, like you said, traded away. McCreary gone, and then now who do we have to draft a corner this year in the draft? We have no other option. I mean, if we want to stop Micah Robinson and who else is out there? We have Jalen Armour Davis, who was injured this week. So it's just getting worse as time goes on, and hopefully the cornerback room will get better as time goes on. Hopefully.
I 100% agree. Hopefully so, but can't get any worse at this point.
Yeah, as now we're going to dive into our three key takeaways for this episode. As the first one, we're going to talk about Cam Ward and his pluses and minuses this week. He had maybe a couple minuses I saw, but mostly positives out of this game against a really tough San Francisco defense.
I mean, yeah, you're absolutely right. He had two touchdowns through the air, no interceptions. He's continuing to like probably the past 10 weeks the NFL season has really been efficient with not throwing the ball in harm's way. It's sort of like he's sort of starting to remind me of like Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers just did not throw picks back in the day. And that's sort of how Cam Ward's starting to become. Now, yes, he's losing a couple of fumbles. Those are rookie mistakes. We can chalk those up to him. Look, Cam Ward is missing some throws. I will be honest with you. That is a little concerning. He's missing some throws, especially that one what was down the seam to Van Jefferson. That could have just completely been a different game at halftime had he have hit that throw. So his accuracy is there's a tad bit of concern there, but you can see it. The way that Cam Moore just feels the pocket pressure, he's able to go out of the pocket. He's able to throw it from any position. He's able to contour his body to get the ball where it needs to be. He's got the intangibles. If he smooths down his accuracy and hones it in, I think we're looking at a really good second year jump for Cam Ward.
I totally agree there. I mean, there was, like you said, there was maybe two or three bad plays I've seen from him this game. One was well, let me rephrase that because I was going into bad plays across the whole team, but yeah, you're right. It was the wide open shot to Jefferson on the left side of the field. We had a couple of missed plays, but like like the one from Chimere Dike in the second quarter, I believe. Cam broke three or four tackles and sacks, got over to the right side of the field, threw it to Chim, and he just flats out drops it, and we got to settle for three.
It's like he didn't even like. This is the thing about it, and Van Jefferson too. You know what makes me sick and tired? Look, I understand. I'm watching, sitting here watching a 2-12 football team, but what I cannot stand to watch is Van Jefferson give up on routes that he has the guy burned on. I absolutely, it makes me sick every time I watch it, and he does it every game. And it's not like he just does it once a game. He runs a great route. I mean, beats the corner 6 steps off. I don't know if he just assumes that Cam Ward's not going to look his way, or he assumes the pocket's collapsing and it's all over. But he just gives up on his routes. I remember seeing two throws occasionally. Both probably would have been great gains, if not touchdowns, that Van Jefferson just pulled back and quit running. You just can't do that in the NFL.
Yeah,
It's a lack of effort problem.
I agree. He's had some issues in the receiver category since the preseason. You saw week 2 preseason against the Atlanta Falcons where what was it, like a 60-yard pass that was there and it dropped right in the bucket and he just drops it. That from that
Look,
point on, I knew that that was going to be an issue of him going forward.
Yeah,
usually
the
you can just
thing
discredit any concerns that you see in the preseason, but I feel like the preseason really did show us a lot about how this team's going to be, and that's not a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the thing is, it's an easy thing for them to fix because they have the people. They just don't want to elevate them because I think if they do elevate Restrepo, it will help a lot because then they would have Restrepo, they would have Okonkwo, but they're just refusing to, and it feels like they're just trying to tank this season at this point.
Well, Restrepo, he is out due to injury. He wasn't placed on injured reserve, so there is a chance he comes back later this season. Hopefully during the New Orleans game. I kind of want to see him against a not so great secondary there, but we'll have to wait and see. But I'm just hoping at this point that he's back on the roster next year.
So you're 2.7. I'm going to give you absolute credit for one of them and tear one of them apart. You're absolutely right. We need to get him the ball more. You know how that Arthur Smith utilized Johnu's in the way that he would throw those little short screen passes and let Johnu really get away to work with his legs. I feel like that is what we need to do with Chig Okonkwo. We don't give him the targets and we don't give him the touches he should be getting, because when he gets the ball, he does incredible things with it. I'm going to say this one time on the podcast because I don't want to spew another argument like we've had before. But Titans fans have set an unprecedented level of expectations that Restrepo just cannot live up to.
That's
He can't live up to it. He's not a good receiver, guys. The only reason he's good at Miami is because he had all those years to play. I disagree with what Nate said a couple weeks ago that he makes Cam Ward look more comfortable. I just don't see it. I don't see a correlation there. Yes, are they friends off the field? Absolutely. Yes. Does he deserve a spot on the practice squad? Yes. I just don't think that Restrepo's ever going to be the man that Titans fans want him to be.
Well, I think there's one thing that I want to defend my take on. You said that you don't see that yet, but I think it's maybe because there's only been 2 games where they've been on the same field at the same time, possibly even 5 plays total. Because for some reason we didn't start him in that Seattle game until the fourth quarter, and then in the who did we play before Seattle? Well, anyway, it was whoever we played before Seattle. He was out there maybe 2 plays per quarter, and he just has not been given the time and chances that he deserves, I believe. Now we are gonna move into. We already went over this. Our second key takeaway is the secondary is down to bare bones. I mean, we already touched on that. It's not great, and hopefully it gets better in the future. And then the third key takeaway we have here is Jeffrey Simmons. Yes, Jeffrey Simmons, the defensive tackle, gets a receiving touchdown in the fourth quarter against the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, that guy, he's everything. Look, when we drafted him coming off of his injury from Mississippi State, I think it was a big concern. But that guy's turned out to be everything you could have possibly wanted him to be. I mean, defensively, he sets the tone. He's been absolutely phenomenal. Like, you can see the effort that he plays. Sometimes he gets him in trouble with a couple of flags, but, like,
Yeah.
I'm completely okay with that, with the tone that he brings to the game. And he got the Walter Payton Man of the Year the Tennessee Titans for what is this? Quite a few years now that he's gotten that award for giving back to the community. And just the cherry on top is that touchdown. I don't necessarily think that it's really anything right down on deep on, but what I think it is, Nate, is it's just a morale booster. It is a morale booster for this fan base saying, hey, look, things are bad right now, but the future could be bright.
I agree. You did touch on the penalties he's had recently. That's one, probably the only issue I've seen with him so far this season. You know, he's been called for the same penalty 3 times so far this season, which is running into the center on extra points and field goals, which has cost us probably a total of 14 points total. But, you know, it's something hopefully he can get better on going forward, which I know he'll probably be here. He's probably on what, like a 3-year deal currently. We have probably him for 3-4 more years. But yeah, it's just another thing to hopefully improve on there. But I think Simmons, as of right now, is probably the best he could be for this team.
I think a lot of those flags don't necessarily come for him making bad plays or undisciplined plays. I think most of them are just he's so mentally into it in the game. Flashback week one, if you remember, Titans are trying to stop the Broncos to get the ball back for a chance to go down the field and score. And Jeffrey Simmons makes an incredible play, busted the line of scrimmage, tackles Harvey in the backfield, is dragging him down, but just sort of body slams him. And that's what costs the flag. It's not necessarily that he's making great plays, but just going a little bit too far after the whistle. But I think it's something that can be corrected. And in some situations, I don't think it's a bad thing. It's kind of like getting some fouls in basketball. You know,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you want to get some fouls to set the intensity, set the tone, be a little scrappy. And I think that's what the Titans need. And Jeffrey Simmons brings it to them.
I agree. You know how, like you said, Simmons, he needs to work on those issues. I think possibly, write this down, but I think possibly he could be a top 2 defensive line player in the NFL next year if he cleans some of that stuff up, and he's only going to get better as time goes on. Think about it. You have Miles Garrett. He's going competing up with that spot with Max Crosby. Hot take, I think Jeffrey Simmons is better than Max Crosby.
Well, then again, I mean, really, that's not even the same position group because
Mm-hmm.
those guys are defensive ends. When you take a look at defensive tackle, Jeff Simmons, Chris Jones. And burn me at the stake if you want to, but I'm taking Jeff Simmons over Chris Jones 10 times out of 10.
I agree, but I think Garrett, he plays edge and tackle, right? Or is he just solely edge?
Who are you talking about? Miles Garrett?
Yeah, Miles Garrett.
I think he can play anything, but I think he's listed at edge. But even then,
I still think you could probably argue, I mean, he could be top defensive player next year if things pan out that
I,
way.
I don't think there's a defensive player, maybe excluding like the two guys that you mentioned, Miles Garrett and Max Crosby, that a defensive player means more to a team than Jeffrey Simmons means to the Titans.
Yeah, I agree. Next, we're going to move into giving our picks for Titan of the Week this week. We have more to go off of than previous weeks, talking about the Texans game we've had in the past, and now we are back, and we're going to do our Titan of the Week picks. And let's start with you, Luke. Who do you have for your Titan of the Week for Week 15 against the Niners?
Well, a couple honorable mentions go to Tony Pollard, back to back 100 plus yard game. Gunnar Helm was exceptional. But my Titan of the Week this week is a man who just is not getting any recognition still by the national media, which is Cedric Gray. He's now 5 tackles behind Devin White in second place in the NFL in all season tackles. Now take a look. This game alone, Cedric Gray had 16 total tackles, 7 of which were solo tackles, and he had a quarterback hit. The man is performing at just an all-star pace this season, and he's probably going to be the least known Pro Bowler at the end of the season. He is my Titan of the Week.
I agree. I mean, Cedric Gray, he's not getting the recognition he deserves. He's probably he's just like in his second year, I believe. Just imagine what he's gonna be in years to come. He could be really a breakout player on this team going forward as we continue to try to rebuild. But for my Titan of the week, I am gonna go with Gunnar Helm. You mentioned him earlier. He come up big this week, and he was the team's leading receiver. He's also tied for the team's leading catcher this year, as Chimere DK and Gunnar Helm both had 4 catches on the day. Helm had 4 catches for 49 yards and a touchdown this week, and I think he's improving with each game, and possibly might be starting tight end maybe next year. I really hope not. I really hope we keep Chig. I know he's getting on the older side, but I mean, he has a couple of traits to him that a lot of tight ends don't really have, and I just hate to see us losing him.
I'm going to jump in here real quick. I'm going to disagree with you, Nate. I really do honestly hope that we keep Gunnar Helm. Keep Gunnar Helm over Chigakonkwo. Because Chigakonkwo, the thing about him is he's a great tight end playmaking wise. He's a great receiving tight end. But I think we saw now this offensive line that the Titans have to figure out how to get an effective run game. And whether how bad our offensive line is, a Gunnar Helm type tight end is just beautiful. You saw it firsthand how much George Kittle did to help the San Francisco 49ers last week. I think that really is how good Gunnar Helm can be. Not necessarily George Kittle level, but up to that tier. When you take a look at the tight ends that everyone's talking about in this draft, it's Colston Loveland and Tyler Warren.
Mm.
But I think the Titans got the best value at their pick with drafting Gunnar Helm.
I agree. I do want to say that I'm not saying I would pick Chig over Gunner. I'm just saying I hope we keep both on the team for the foreseeable future going forward. I know we have Helm for what, 3 more seasons after this. I'll be fine if we just sign Chig for another 2-year deal, see what he's got, and go forward with that.
I think there's a good chance that it happens too, because I think if the Titans weren't going to sign Chig, they probably would have traded him before the deadline.
Yeah, I agree, and that's what I was shocked about. I thought they was gonna trade him, but you know, surely there was teams that was offering something. I mean, there's no way that no team would just deny a trade like that.
Oh yeah, I think the Titans declined. Probably other teams trying to come get Chig for your reason, Nate. I think they're going to try and get him to come back this season, next
Yeah,
season rather.
I hope so. Who do you have for your Titan of the week, Kevin?
I think for mine, even though y'all are sitting here digging on Chig, he is at least one of the most reliable, and I think that for his 6 targets that he got, getting 4 of them and being one of the more reliable of the receiving kind of yard and everything, he is doing way better than y'all are giving him credit for. I think that if they used him more, then they would possibly help out and get more first downs and keep the ball rolling. And I think that's what Cam Ward is needing most, is someone who can receive and not drop it and pull a Ridley.
Yeah, I'm not saying he played bad this week at all. I'm just saying that, I'm just hoping we keep him going forward. I think he is an outstanding tight end. I think he's highly underrated. Given time, I think he could be a really good tight end in this league.
Yeah, I think his stats are looking bad only because he doesn't get the amount of targets that others do get. I think that once he does get them, then he's really going to start to shine, and hopefully the Titans don't get rid of him before he does that.
To Evan's point, I think I saw a chart last week on Instagram, and it had most efficient tight ends in the league based on like touches and stuff like that. And Chigakonko was number 3, just based on what he's done with the touches that he's got. So to Evan's point, absolutely, you got to get Chick the ball more.
I agree. And you've seen the speed he has. What was it last week? No, it'd been a couple weeks ago, where he threw that deep ball, or Cam threw that deep ball to Chig. What was like a 60-yard pass? It was almost a touchdown to Chig. It might have been a touchdown. I think it was the Patriots, possibly. Fourth quarter. You remember what I'm talking about?
Is that the Houston game on Cam Ward's almost game-winning drive?
Yeah, that's it.
Talking about?
Yeah. Uh, Next, we're going to go into predictions after this, but there is one thing I want to touch on before we go that. Let's go over the play calling this week. There's a couple things I had an issue with this week. One is the never ending end around that we have in our playbook 5 times every week. Jet sweep to Chimere DK. We lose 5 to 6 yards. We cannot stop calling the play. And then we have these stupid wide receiver screens that we have that we're throwing to who knows who over here on the side when it's 3rd and 20. There's no way we're getting the first down on a screen. What are you doing?
You remember the first home game that we had this season? I don't know if it was against the Colts or the Rams, but it was literally like Cam Ward's debut at Nissan Stadium. The first play they tried to run, like on the
Yep.
second drive, was the screen pass to a receiver who was not there. That set the tone for this season. I agree with you. I seriously do not understand how these guys are getting paid on salary for how bad they are tanking the football team. Look, they apparently from Roger Goodell, tanking is forbidden in the National Football League. The Titans really do need to be investigated because you're just not calling these plays if you want to win football games. It is ridiculous.
Like, why are you calling jet sweeps with Chimere DK coming from the far end? You can see him running over, and you know they're going to hand it off because they're that bad of a football team. It's 3rd and 20. Why are you even calling that?
All right, one more thing, because Drew Brees and all of us on Instagram is talking about that beautiful route combination the Titans had on Gunnar Helm's touchdown. Yes, that was absolutely beautiful. But what they don't tell you is that 86% of the season, the route combination the Tennessee Titans have rolled out has been absolutely beyond abysmically horrible. Like, we don't have checkdowns. Our offensive line sucks, and we don't have checkdowns half of the time. Whenever we do have checkdowns, we don't send Chimere DK burning down the field. We're running him in the slot drag routes, or put him on curls on the outside. Like, it's like they take the guys who should be doing like the things that they're best fitted for athletically, and they just do the exact opposite. Because I can promise you, you know what? I'm sorry, Evan. I'm gonna admit something right here, right now that it pains me to. But Xavier Restrepo would be a heck of a lot better running drags down the field than Van Jefferson.
I agree. He
Yeah,
can catch
almost
the ball.
anyone would. I think I could go out there and run better than Van Jefferson has been.
And I've seen people in the building in press conferences and stuff. They're saying Van Jefferson is the fastest guy on this team, which that shocks me to hear when you have Chimere DK in that locker room who scored what 2 to 3 punt return and kick return touchdowns.
Look, I have no doubt Van Jefferson's in the NFL. He's fast, but I'll run a 9.0 40-yard dash, and we get about the same amount of separation.
Yeah, it's I don't know. And there was another thing. What was that other thing I was going to touch on? Oh yeah, speaking of the commentating in this game, it's funny going week to week. You can tell none of these guys have watched a single Titans game this season. You have Drew Brees over here. He's trying his best. I think this is his first week commentating. He said, we have this guy, Bo Hardigree, taking over play calling from the Arizona game, and wow, what a play caller he is already in this league. They're drawing up these insane routes like you have not seen this team play a football game.
Yeah, some people
What
actually have hope, and it's sad.
the commentators that they have given the Titans this year, it actually CBS needs to be put on like the terrorist watch list or something, because they do not know what they're talking about. I mean, can you blame them though? Would you really go back throughout your week and study Tennessee Titans football to be prepared? I probably wouldn't.
Not gonna lie, hot take. They should hire us. Hire us to commentate in a game. I'd be down.
Yeah, that would be
I'd do it for free.
crazy.
But
Yeah.
I remember that Texans game in Houston. That was insane to hear. There's just one guy that I don't know what he was talking about. He's talking about catfish and Friday fun day at food. I don't know what he's talking about. He's over here bringing up these random off-topic questions, talking to this colleague, and he's not even watching the football game. Well, I mean, you can't really blame him. They was losing 20-0 at that point, but still.
To lighten the mood up, speaking about that Texans game, Nate, the most demoralized I've been so far this season, maybe even in my Titans like past couple years history since we've been sucking, is whenever the whole entire week all I saw on Instagram was Legarius Sneed and Nico Collins who? Nico Collins who? And he like proceeds to get absolutely torched on a third down and 28. Like at that point, it was over.
Eh, you seen it? What was it? He played 2 or 3 weeks after that, and he's still over here making these snarty remarks to these players, and he thinks he's somebody, and he gets burned by oh, what's his name, Keandre Booty or something from New England, and he gets burned on a go route straight vertical, and Sneed's turned the opposite way from the receiver. It's really frustrating to watch, and as now we are going to dive into our predictions for Week 16 around the league, starting off with Thursday Night Football. An amazing game going into this Thursday. We have the Rams and Seahawks, and we'll jump over that right now. All right, starting off our Week 16 picks for the NFL season, we're going to start off with Thursday Night Football. We have the 11-3 Los Angeles Rams traveling to the 11-3 Seattle Seahawks. The game is for the division lead and possibly for the division, essentially. Who do you have here, Luke, for the division?
Man, this is going to be a fun, fun, fun game to watch. High stakes football, late December in Seattle. I think that I'm finally ready to say that the Seattle Seahawks have the legs to go all the way. Give me Seattle to come out here and steal the division away from the Rams.
That's not a bad pick, but it's just hard to pick against Sean McVay at this point in the season. We're getting into that playoff stretch. We're getting close. We're, what, 3-4 weeks out from the playoffs? I know the Seahawks, they are a top 5 team in the league, but I don't know. The Rams are a top 2, and I got the Rams over the Seahawks here.
I'm going to agree with Luke. I think that the Seahawks are going to come out on top. I'm super excited for this game, but I feel like Jackson Smith Najigba is going to go crazy.
Yeah. Before we move into the Saturday games, we have a couple Saturday games going in. I do want to mention that our records for predictions so far on the year or starting off last week, we have Evan who won the predictions for week 15. He got 10 right, 4 wrong. And then I came in second with 8 right, 6 wrong. Then Luke came in last with 6 right and 8 wrong. And that brings us to a total on the year. Total on the year, I am in the lead with 58 right and 40 wrong. Luke in second with 51 right, 47 wrong. And Evan in third with 41 right and 29 wrong. Which this week we're going to add a little thing to catch Evan up to since he started later. We're going to add 5 points to whatever he gets right this week, and that'll kind of even it up there heading in towards the end of the season as we do our predictions up to the Super Bowl this year. So now we are going to move into our Saturday predictions, as this is the first NFL Saturday of the year. We have at 4 o'clock, we have the 9-5 Philadelphia Eagles traveling to the 4-10 Washington Commanders that is being trotted out there by Marcus Mariota.
Yeah, I think the Eagles really need this win to keep their momentum going into the playoffs, even after they beat the Raiders 31-0. And yes, Marcus Mariota is still in for the Commanders. The Commanders just probably have one of the most disappointing turnarounds after such a magical season they had last year. Give me the Eagles.
I'm going to agree. I just don't see a world where the Commanders win here, especially off the high win that the Eagles had. I got the Eagles.
Yeah, I have the Eagles as well. I think that without Jane Daniels, there's not a chance in the world that they could win this game.
Yeah, moving into the second and final game on this Saturday, we have another game for the top of the spot in the division for the NFC North. Whoever wins will be bumped up to the 2 seed in the NFC. Whoever will lose will go down to the 7 seed in the NFC. We have the 9-4-1 Green Bay Packers traveling to the 10-4 Chicago Bears. Who do you have here, Luke?
All right, look, here's the thing. I want to start off this by saying I do not think the Bears are frauds. The Bears are a good football team, but they are just so untested. Give me the Green Bay Packers. I think they are the more experienced team, and I think they're the team that better suits this environment when it's cold and it's December. Historically, Green Bay plays great in December, and I don't think it's going to change now. Give me the Packers.
I think, thinking back on it, I think every time you have predicted the Bears, they wind up winning. So I think that since playing
He's
off of that, I'm gonna go with the Bears, but not solely on that. There's a couple reasons I want to dive into there. Micah Parsons is out for the season. We have Tucker Kraft most likely out for the season. That's two really big hits on the Packers moving into the postseason this season. And I think the Bears will take advantage of that in a chilly night in Chicago. And I don't know. I think this will be the game we finally see Caleb Williams start to break out and Ben Johnson get that revenge over Matt LaFleur. I got the Bears.
Yeah, I think I agree. I'm gonna go with the Bears. I didn't even know that Micah was gonna be out the rest of the season, but I think that's just more of a reason to go with the Bears and Dunze.
Yeah. Moving in, starting with the Sunday games, we have a rough game to watch. First game we're doing our predictions on. We have the 3-11 New York Jets traveling to the 4-10 New Orleans Saints. Who do you have here, Luke?
Both teams suck. This shouldn't be televised in any geographical location, but I think the Jets have a better team, and I like their coach better, so I guess I'll pick the Jets.
I'm gonna disagree once again. I got the Saints. They're coming off of what a 2 or 3 game win streak currently. They just beat the Buccaneers. They beat the Panthers. I think they can beat the Jets as well, and possibly, hopefully, they can beat the Titans next week. But I got the Saints this week.
I also have the Saints this week. I think that the fact that they can beat the Panthers and they can beat the Bucks, there's no reason that they shouldn't beat the Jets, and it's going to be a really sad turnaround if they do lose to the Jets and then somehow the Titans pull the Titans and ruin their draft pick and beat them next week.
Yeah, moving into the next game, we have the 10-4 Buffalo Bills are going to be traveling to the 3-11 Shadur Sanders led Cleveland Browns. Who do you have here, Luke?
I don't think it's gonna be close, not one bit. I do think Shadur is probably gonna get the start again. Hopefully he does the rest of the season. But the Bills have to win this game to keep the pressure on the Patriots, and I think they are gonna win this game. Give me Buffalo.
I agree. Bills need this win as they're trying to catch up back with the Patriots. If the Patriots lose this week and the Bills win, the Bills will take the lead in the division. I think the Bills will capitalize on that as they try to get closer to that division lead. I got the Bills.
I also have the Bills winning this week. I don't think there's really much to it. I think that Shadur's just going to get squashed.
Next game, we have the 10-4 Los Angeles Chargers traveling to the 6-7 and 1 Dallas Cowboys. Who do you have here, Luke?
It was real slick there, Nate. But I do think this will be a competitive game. I think Dallas has the ability to score more points at any given time than their opponent. Their offense is really deadly, and I think Dallas is going to win this game.
Yeah, Dallas. Well, um, they're. I think they could be the better team. They've just had some struggles past couple of weeks. I think I'm gonna go with the Chargers here as they try to somehow get back up to that division lead. As they're the only team in that division now that can compete with the Broncos. The Chargers, they looked good against the Chiefs, and I just got the Chargers here.
Yeah, I have the Chargers as well.
Yeah, moving on to the next game, we have the 6-8 Minnesota Vikings traveling to the 2-12 New York Giants. Who do you have here, Luke?
Tell you what, I'm going to be the biggest Giants fan on the place of the earth this week, right here. But with that being said, I think the Vikings are the better team. JJ McCarthy's starting to find his footing in the NFL. And if I'm going to pick with my brain, I'm going to go with the Vikings.
I'm gonna disagree once again. I'm gonna go with the Giants here. I think the Giants, hot take, I think they're the better team. Jackson Dart's far better than J.J. McCarthy at this point in both their careers. And I think the Giants will drop out of that number one spot in the draft, and it'll probably go to the Raiders. We'll see. Hopefully, us. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I got the Giants.
I think that Jackson Dart is the better quarterback of the two, but I think that without Scatterboo, the Giants don't have enough weapons to overcome the Vikings, and I think the Vikings come out on top this week.
All right, moving
I'll tell you
into.
what, either I'm going to be almost winning after this week's over, or I'm going to be down just an unconceivable amount.
Yeah.
That's crazy. As we was going over that Bears game, I started playing it back in my head. I don't think have you even picked the Bears once this year?
I'm not a Bears hater, I promise. It's just, you're the Bears.
Nah, you just don't like Caleb Williams. I see.
Uh,
All right, moving into the next game, we have another game for a top spot in the division this week. We have the 7-7 Tampa Bay Buccaneers traveling to the 7-7 Carolina Panthers.
I'll tell you what, the Buccaneers, they just don't look like a very good football team right now. The Panthers are a very inexperienced football team, but think about it. They either look like the 85 Bears or the 25 Titans. That's how inconsistent they are week from week. And I think this week they're going to get it together at home against the Bucks when they really have something to play for. Give me Carolina.
I'm gonna agree. I mean, you've seen how much that loss to Atlanta enraged that team in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You've seen how frustrated the Bucks head coach was, Todd Bowles. You've seen Mike Evans as frustrated as he was. You've seen Baker Mayfield frustrated as he was. So I'm gonna go with the Panthers rebounding off of that loss they had to the Saints, and I think they're gonna take that top spot back in the division.
I think that this is going to be a really good game, and I think that the Bucks, even though they have had a rough second half of the season, and coming off of that loss to the Falcons by one and making them as mad as I saw when Baker Mayfield was walking off of the field, I think that they're going to have a turnaround and they're going to come out on top on the Panthers with the help of Irving since he's been back for a little bit and been getting his numbers up.
Yeah, not bad takes there. I mean, it's possible they could come out on top. We'll see on this Sunday. But next game, we have kind of a not non-meaningful game here. It's two teams that are barely out of the playoffs. We have the 4-10 Cincinnati Bengals traveling to the 6-8 now Miami Dolphins, who just lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I don't think that's necessarily a bad loss. For as long as I've been watching football, Aaron Rodgers has been invincible in December. It's no different this year. I do think the Dolphins are trending upwards, and I think if they win out, Mike McDaniel still has an outside shot of winning his job back. But with that being said, I also don't think the Bengals are 100% healthy. I don't think Joe Burrow is 100% healthy. This is a tough game to pick. Give me Miami.
I'm gonna disagree with you once again. I have the Bengals here. I know Burrow. He's been frustrated. You've seen it in the press conferences in the past couple of weeks. I think he have will have a rebound week this week, and I think they will light it up against the Miami Dolphins.
So going to agree with Nate. I think that Burrow is going to destroy the Dolphins. They still don't have Tyreek Hill. A-Chain this last week wasn't looking the best. He usually has these crazy weeks, but lately he's been slowing down, and I think that the Bengals come out on top.
Yeah, moving into the next game, another really good game this week. We have the 10-4 Jacksonville Jaguars as they are going to travel to Denver to take on the 12-2 Denver Broncos.
I'll tell you what, I'm a Denver Bronco believer. Hand in hand, I do think the Broncos are one of the best teams in the National Football League, and I think their weakest link is their quarterback, and he's still, in my opinion, better than Trevor Lawrence. I am a Trevor Lawrence hater. Give me the Broncos.
I'm gonna agree with you. Finally, I'm gonna agree with you. I have
Thank
the
you.
the Broncos winning this week. I write this down. I have the Broncos getting into the Super Bowl this year as the AFC representative. I think the Broncos are the best team in the AFC. I think they're miles better than the Patriots. I think they're way better than some of the other teams like the Jaguars who they're playing this week. And I think they will make a statement this week over Jacksonville.
I'm also going to agree with you. I think the Broncos are going to win out this week, but I do not agree with the take that they're making it to the Super Bowl. I think that they do get out probably in the second round, but I think they're going to win out this week.
All right, moving into the next game. Not a great game here either, but we have the 5-9 Atlanta Falcons traveling to the 3-11 Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, I just don't think the Cardinals are very good. Give me the Falcons on this one. They have the better weapons, they have the better team. The Cardinals are just, they're free falling at this point.
I agree. I don't see the Cardinals winning. I got the Falcons.
I have the Falcons also. They have the weapons and everything. I just hope that the coach can find a way to not lose to the Cardinals.
Hey Evan, you know what that means? If the Falcons lose to the Cardinals, technically the Titans are a better team than the Falcons.
No, I don't think so.
All right, moving into the next game, we have probably another blowout for the Raiders, which is not great for them. We have the 2-12 Las Vegas Raiders traveling to the 9-6 Houston Texans. Who do you have here, Luke?
I think the Texans are one of the hottest teams in the NFL right now. CJ Stroud has really turned around his season. Give me the Texans.
I agree. There's no world will the Raiders win this game as much as I want them to, so we can get back to that number one spot. It's not gonna happen. As good as Houston's looking right now, and the hot streak that CJ's on right now, I got the Texans.
Yeah, I definitely have the Texans. They've been looking insane lately.
Yeah, moving into the next game, another good game here. We have the 8-6 Pittsburgh Steelers traveling to the 8-6 Detroit Lions. If the Lions lose this game, I believe they could be eliminated from postseason. Who do you have here, Luke?
Crazy. The Lions aren't going to make it. The Ravens aren't going to make it. The Chiefs aren't going to make it. Some of these teams that we thought were probably locks to be in their conference championships really aren't going to be in the playoffs at all. I think the Lions are in free fall, and I just said Aaron Rodgers is invincible in December, and Steelers could probably pretty much sort of wrap up the division if they win this game right here. Of course, they need to win the next couple games. I think they play the Browns one more time. But give me the Pittsburgh Steelers to knock the Lions off. I think the Steelers have a better shot this year of going on a postseason run than they have in pretty much since the Killer Bee era.
Yeah, not a bad take from you there, but I think I'm going to go back to my trend of picking against you. I have the Lions here. I think the Lions need this win desperately, and I think they will get this win as they try to hold on to their slim chances into the playoffs this year.
Yeah, I have the Lions as well. I just think that overall they are a better team. They have better coaches, and I think they're going to come out on top this week.
All right, moving into the first or the second primetime game, or actually maybe third or fourth, but moving into the next primetime game, we have a pretty decent game here. Sunday Night Football, the 11-3 New England Patriots traveling to the 7-7 Baltimore Ravens. Who do you have here, Luke?
I would say what Patriots football is some of the most exciting football to watch in the league right now. Drake May, I do think, is the rightful deserving of the most valuable player award. And I think he's going to prove it. I mean, New England.
You know what? Wow, it says the Ravens are favored at this point, and I think I'm gonna.
What?
Yeah, they're favored by 3 at the
Wow.
moment of this, and it's in Baltimore. You know what? I'm gonna agree. I got the upset here. Is I think the Bills will take back the lead in their division here. I think Lamar will have a great game here, going up against Vrabel's defense, and possibly could take the lead in that division against the Steelers. I got the Ravens.
All right, I'm going to do something crazy, and I'm going to agree with Luke. I think that the
Think
Patriots and Drake May are going to come out on top. He's looked crazy this year, and the Ravens, they've been utilizing Derrick Henry more, but I still don't think that they're utilizing him enough. I think that they don't have the weapons that they think they do, and I could see Drake May having a field day this week.
Yeah, moving into Monday Night Football, a pretty interesting game. We have the 10-4 San Francisco 49ers who just beat the Tennessee Titans going up against the 8-6 Philip Rivers led Indianapolis Colts on Monday Night Football. Who do you have here, Luke?
I'll tell you what, if you would have told me at the start of the season that Patrick Mahomes isn't making the playoffs and Philip Rivers is in the hunt right now, leading the Indianapolis Colts, I would truly like you'd be an idiot. You would have lost all of your credibility. But we're here. And while we're here, Philip Rivers almost beat a top five team, as Nate would say, in the Seattle Seahawks. I think he's got the legs, the arms, the will, and the want to keep the Colts in this playoff race. I can't believe I'm doing this. But give me the Indianapolis Colts and give me 44-year-old Philip Rivers.
He's got the
Wow,
grandpa coming out on top this week.
Luke taking up the grandpa here. But I'm gonna continue with my trend. I'm gonna pick against you, Luke. I think San Francisco is a good team. They kind of looked a little sloppy against the Titans, but I think they're in a rough division where they're 3 out of the 4 teams in that division have double-digit wins, and it's hard to keep up with that. If you look across all the other divisions, the 49ers would almost be winning in every single division that is not theirs almost. So I'm going to go with the 49ers here, getting a much needed win over the Indianapolis Colts.
And I think I'm going to agree with Nate. I don't think that the grandpa led Colts are going to beat Brock Purdy and its 49ers. And I think that McCaffrey is going to do really good this game. And I think it was a miracle that the Colts were that close to winning the last game. So I'm going to go against Luke again.
Moving into our final game for the Week 16 predictions. Oh boy. We have the 6-8 Kansas City Chiefs traveling to Nashville to take on the 2-12 Tennessee Titans. Who do you have here, Luke?
Look, 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 look. I said Jeffrey Simmons is the most valuable player to the Tennessee Titans, but he doesn't even compare to how valuable Patrick Mahomes is to the Kansas City Chiefs. I think morale is dead for Kansas City. Titans have been playing like this with nothing to lose for the past, what, 10 weeks? I think this would just be just a, a boost of confidence, a boost of energy for the Tennessee Titans if they can pull this upset off. And you know what, Nate? You've disagreed with me just about every other time before. Might as well make it one more. Give me the two-toned blue. Give me Cam Ward to say Nashville is my home. Get his first career win in Music City and take down the dark dynasty of the NFL. Give me the Tennessee Titans.
No, it's not
Well, that's
crazy.
a take.
What's your score prediction?
My score prediction is going to be I think the Titans and the Chiefs get in a defensive stalemate, but I think Cam Ward's able to lead the team down and kick a game winning field goal at the very end of it. Give me 18-15. Titans win.
You know what? Call me crazy. I'm going to agree with you. Even though I do not want the Titans to win this game because it would severely hurt their draft stock. I got I agree with you that morale is close to dead for the Chiefs and their fans and their coaching staff. Titans, they're rallying off a win a couple weeks ago against the against the Cleveland Browns and playing really well against a playoff team in the San Francisco 49ers. I'm going to agree. I got the Titans this week, and give me the Titans winning against a Gardner Minshew led Chiefs. Give me Titans, you know what? I'm going to say 31-21.
Well, that's crazy, and it looks like I'm going to pull a Luke, and I'm going to disagree with everybody else. And I think that the Chiefs are going to come out on top. I think that they're not going to play like the Chiefs that everyone has known this season. And I think it's going to be a really low scoring game at that. But they do still have some of the weapons surrounding Minshew. And that's something that Cam Ward doesn't have enough of. And the ones that he does have, like a Conquo, he doesn't use. So I see the Chiefs coming out on top, probably 21-18.
That's fair. As you look at it, Chiefs coming off a rough loss against the Los Angeles Chargers this week. Well, I think they lost, what was it, 16-13. Titans losing to the 49ers this week, 37-24. Put up pretty good numbers against a playoff team. Chiefs, they lost Mahomes for the year. They're probably going to be trotting out, they will be trotting out Gardner Minshew, who he did play 5 snaps for the Chiefs against the Chargers, and just those 5 snaps he played, he threw an interception. So it could be rough for the Kansas City offense going up against a no-name team Titans defense with Pizza Hut delivery guy in the backfield and safety, and then we have who knows who we're starting at corner. We have no-name safeties. Might as well have no-names corners. Probably, I think the only, you know what? I think Marcus Harris could be a really good player for this Titans defense going forward, and I think possibly only one of the good cornerbacks we have in this team.
Yeah, I think that the Chiefs are just going to come out swinging this week because who wants to lose to the 2-12 Titans? I just don't believe that they're going to pull punches even though Mahomes is down, and I think that they're going to try to still come out on top.
Yeah, got deep diving into this game, which is our last segment for this week, is the preview of Titans Chiefs. Do want to touch on that. The Chiefs, they have not been putting up good numbers, which they will have a different quarterback this week. You know, I think that'll kind of be worse for them going forward. And Rashee Rice not looking like he once did a couple seasons ago. Xavier Worthy, yeah, he's there. Uh, Isaiah Pacheco, yeah, he's there. He's not been as good as recent years. And if you look at the Titans' offense, kind of similar things. We've had our ups and downs. Cam Ward has looked outstanding the past 5 weeks. We have Tony Pollard coming off of 2 straight 100-yard games on the year. Receiving wise, we have Chimere DK, we have Alec Iamaner, we have Van Jefferson, and we have Chigaziem Okonkwo and Gunnar Helm, which look to be really improving in these past couple of weeks. So that's my thoughts on this game. And is there anything you want to add, Luke?
Not anything other than what a morale boost it would be for Tennessee to win this game. I understand that we need to keep our draft pick. I understand It doesn't really help us in the long scheme of things. But for a Titans fan that suffered through all these seasons, I want this win. I'm going to be honest with you.
It would be nice to see the Titans getting a win against all that red. I went to the game as my first ever Titans game was in 2019. There we went to the AFC Championship. It was at home, Nissan Stadium. Titans were 2-4 going into it. They played the Kansas City Chiefs. We won off of a blocked field goal as there was a whole sea of red in that stadium. It was so amazing just to see that sea leave immediately after that blocked field goal, after them being so confident the entire game. Titans fans finally got a moment to celebrate in that game, which was the win. That was probably, out of looking back, maybe one of the best Titans games in the past 5 to 6 years.
I agree.
Yeah, so that is going to wrap up the podcast episode here for episode 9. As we do have a quiz video coming out soon. It might already be posted before the release of this, it also might not, but it is Evan who is right there as he took on Boston, our audio guy, for a quiz, which is a non-Titans fans Titans knowledge quiz, as we see who knows the most about Titans knowledge. We are going to close out this episode. Thank y'all for watching, and we will catch y'all next week for episode 10. See y'all then.